Welcome to the first hands-on with the PS5 controller and a live gameplay demo of new PS5 gameplay with the controller. And we also have a direct comparison between the PS4 controller and the PS5 controller. You're going to want to watch the video through to the end and watch it in 4K if you can. Let me know your opinions on the controller down below, and if you're getting a PS5 this year, then let me know by clicking like on this video.
DualShock, and I've got that here, my PS4 Pro DualShock. This is a form factor that really has been around since the original PlayStation. In various different forms. There weren't analog sticks back then, but the DualSense introduces a couple new innovations, and having played it here for a couple of hours, I'll kind of summarize those for you before we get into some gameplay. The big things that I've noticed are the adaptive triggers, the L2 and R2. So outside of the game environment, you just kind of pull these down like any controller, but when you're in a game, there's actually the possibility to create tension points or haptics inside of these adaptive triggers. So imagine pulling this down and feeling the pressure from a bow in a bow and arrow, or even in an action game, pulling this down and feeling active reload points, where designers can actually create tension points as you pull this down at certain percentages, and give the player feedback. Controller are the haptics. So PlayStation had Rumble for quite some time, but the haptics add another layer to the experience. It's not just sort of one rumble point. And so it's not just kind of on or off. There's the ability to create other sensations. As you'll see in this demo I'm going to show you of Astrobot's Playroom, you'll see what ice feels like, what sand feels like, and different surfaces. The other thing that I've noticed is that the speaker in the DualSense, it feels like it has much more range than the PlayStation 4 speaker, and it often directly ties into what's happening with the haptics. At least in Astro's Playroom, there's much more variety in the types of sounds coming out of the speaker. And I'm sure every game will use it differently or may not use it as much, but at least in this demo, you really do sense that there's a lot going on with the haptics and there's sound that ties into it. And then when you combine that with the Tempest 3D engine in PlayStation 5 for the speakers, the sort of harmony between the controller sound and what's happening in the PlayStation 5 is really, really unique and interesting. What we're going to check out is Astro's Playroom, and that is the game that comes packed with the PlayStation 5. It is pre-installed on the system. You don't even have to download it. And it's not just like a tutorial demo of 15 minutes. It's a multi-hour game. We're going to get to play one section of it today. And I think the reason we're playing this is because it comes with the system and it really showcases the controller. So, of course, everyone wants to see what Horizon Forbidden West looks like on the system, and this is a demo that is focused, I think, more on the controller and the haptics and the adaptive triggers versus trying to showcase the power of the SSD or the true graphics horsepower of PS5. So that's all stuff we can look forward to. We've seen those games at the event, and they look spectacular. So that's another aspect of PS5 that I'm sure hopefully we'll get to see more of in the coming weeks. But at least right now, we're going to look at the controller and how that relates to gameplay with Astro's Playroom. So let's call it up here and go hands-on live with PS5. So you can even hear the sound of my bot walking around. So full 6 degrees of motion as always. Looks like I'm going to have to flick up here on the pad to release my bot. And we are in CPU Plaza. The thing about this game, as you will see in this demo, there are a lot of references to the history of PlayStation. So Cooling Springs is the area that is open on Jeff's demo of this game. And we are going to jump in here and just go through this experience with the bot. All right, so we're on the beach here. There are beach balls you can play around with. There are some bots enjoying life, sunning themselves. Bot on vacation here. Should I disrupt them? Let's do it. How rude of me, right? And then we're going to head on over here into this sandstorm created by, I guess, these CPU fans. And again, when you get into this environment, I'm static here, but you hear the crisp sounds of sand coming at you. There's a tension in the controller from going over this sand environment, and then you push further in. And here we are. And look, the rubber ducks are back. Remember the duck demos? PlayStation 3, I think that was. Rubber ducks. All right, so I have this suit, and I'm going to push up on the controller to zip him up. This is the frog suit. And this frog suit shows off the adaptive controllers. So I'm going to move my controller left and right. And these adaptive triggers are really, really cool. And I've never felt something like this before in a console controller. As you push down on the controller, there's tension now in these adaptive triggers, and it's programmable. One thing that I think is really fun about this demo is it makes you think of how these technologies are going to be used in other games. So you think of Ratchet and Clank. I mean, obviously a lot of this gameplay similar in style to a Ratchet game. So you think of all those crazy graphics that we saw on the stream, but with this type of control and this kind of fun. So now we've made it to the frozen pool area of Cooling Springs. And here, we're going to pull down on this. And again, you see this ice, but you hear a storm literally inside of the DualSense, and sort of a small little rumble from the haptics. Little ice shards here. As you go past every ice shard, you hear the little tink of the ice shard. I wonder if I put this up to the mic, this is not ASMR, this is PSMR. Do you guys hear that? His little footsteps? All this is coming out of the controller. Got a checkpoint here. Now this one, you actually have to blow into the controller. Again, this one, you pull back, just like a bow and arrow almost. And look, I unlocked a PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 5. Well, I had a lot of fun playing with the DualSense controller and Astrobot. And I wanted to get a little more information on all things PlayStation. So joining me now is the worldwide head of marketing at PlayStation, Eric Lempel. Eric, how we doing?
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I got to go hands-on with the PS5, which was a nice surprise this week. I was not expecting it, but you guys are full of surprises for PS5, it looks like.
Yeah, and you're one of the first to actually touch the DualSense outside of the company and the developers. I'd love to know what you think. This is a big thing for us.
Gamers are very excited about PS5. I think we saw even this week there were rumors that pre-orders were happening and the Twitter lit up. I don't know where these rumors start, but I have to ask you, are you about to press the button now for pre-orders? When can we expect to get our PS5?
No, definitely not now. We don't know what happened there. We had nothing to do with it. I got a message from someone saying people are lining up at stores, and we had no idea why. So I think it's safe to say, of your viewers, we'll let you know when pre-order will happen. We will let you know. It's not going to happen with a minute's notice. We're going to, at some point, let you know when you can pre-order a PlayStation 5. So please don't feel like you have to go run out and line up anywhere until you receive official notice on how that'll work. So I don't know how that happened. Don't know who did it. Wasn't us though. So
well, but look, I mean, as a marketer, I'm sure it's great to see there's that much anticipation for your product.
Oh yeah, no, look, we absolutely love all of the PlayStation fans, and we're thrilled that they're excited about this product. And again, with this product, we're trying to bring them experiences they didn't think were possible. And you're experiencing some of that. One of the first people to experience that. I'm glad you had the experience that you did, because that's what we're hoping to get out of this. And unfortunately, given the current situation in the world, we would love to be out there having gamers start to touch the product. We would have done that in normal years. We can't do that. So it's really hard. I know a lot of people watching this, and they're going to really wonder, what are they talking about?
They're going to be angry at me saying, why did he get one?
Exactly. Why did Jeff get to do it? But I think it's really hard to describe. I mean, you've heard us talk about this, but now you've gone through the experience, and you can see it's different.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, you and I have known each other for a long time, and I'm excited that you're in this worldwide role for PlayStation now to kind of unify the messaging around the world. And there was a new tagline for PlayStation that showed up in the event in June, which I think was the first time people had seen it. And can you maybe tell us a bit about this new kind of tagline, which is global for PlayStation?
Certainly, and thanks for noticing that. That was actually the last bit of the show. That was the last thing you saw on the show was this new line, which is play has no limit.